Welcome to episode 4 of making the roguelike game. We're going to finish off the game and then publish it, package it. So let's just get started. So in the game now, if you die, you don't have a restart screen. So we're going to quickly make that. First, we're going to make a text. Then we're going to name this "you lose" for the lose screen, and then center it, make it a little bit bigger, and then modify it to what you want. Then you can place it down and see if you like it. Then what we're going to do here, we're going to make this relative to camera, and then we're going to copy and paste this, and then we're going to make a new one and name this restart. You're going to make this one a little bit smaller, just 2 times. Then once you got the restart and the lose, I think I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. Then on the character, you can go and say when it reaches 0, we already have this. So we go back to this logic that we have, and we say at the end when it says restart card, we're going to remove that now, and then we're going to actually create blueprint, and we're going to create these 2 things that we just created. So we're going to create the "you lose", and we're going to make it absolute position, remember that, so it creates it no matter where the character is and stuff, in the middle and in front of all actors. We're going to create again, and we're going to create the restart button, but we're going to make this absolute and modify the Y position to be 1 or 2, because negative Y position is up and positive is down. So I'm going to make it 2 actually. Then we're going to go in the restart to make it actually work. And all we're going to do is just go to the restart, say when this is created, it's going to restart card. Then you're going to add a sound effect. So you're just going to say play sound. So when you tap it, I think I'm just going to press the shield icon. And after you've done that, you can destroy these. And then now we're going to make the end zone. So this is objective, what you have to get to. We're not going to do a boss fight for this one, but for later ones we can, because the boss fight will be taking too long for me and I want to end this series. I'll probably make other series and stuff later on though. So we're going to make a new blueprint. We're going to make a little portal thing to show the end. So I'm just going to make a design real quick. So I have this design, and I'm just going to modify the collision to be the whole thing. And then for this, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to say on it, this is going to basically restart the thing and show U1. So now, of course, we're going to need a U1 screen. So after we place this down here, we're going to go make a U1 screen, and that's basically the same thing. So we're just going to create the same things that we just used. So instead of "you lose", we're going to fork it, and then we're going to say U1. And for the restart, we don't have to do anything because it does the same thing that we're going to want to do, what is restart. But then we're going to make a timer system as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take text, because we're just going to make sure people can speed run to the end and see if they can get the best time on your certain castle deck or whatever. We're going to make a variable timer, and then I'm going to put like this. So once we make a variable called timer real quick, I'm going to go here, make a variable called timer. It'll change it like this. So if you want a variable name on your text, you can just say $timer or $the variable name. And because I made a space, I didn't include this with the bottom one, the time at the top will stay the same, so you can make this effect. But for this one, I'm going to make it a lot more bigger, and I'm going to modify the width scale to 8 so it's nice and long, so I can place it here. But as you can see, it's going to interfere with the HP. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this timer variable, make this timer just by itself, and make it relative to camera so it stays there. Then I'm going to fork it again, and then I'm going to make this other one, paste the timer, and it's also going to be relative, so I'm going to put it right under. So I have something like this. Then I'm going to make this a little bit smaller though. And what you can also do is just make a space and say seconds. So now it does in seconds. And to make the U1 screen, we can go here to this portal and say when this collides with the character, it's going to create the U1 screen. So when it collides with any actor, and then we say character that we made for the main character, then we're going to say it's going to create blueprint U1 at the absolute position 0, and then create blueprint restart just at the absolute position and a little bit below, so we're going to do the same thing here. And we're also going to want a leaderboard, what we're going to make in a few seconds. But for the timer that we made now, we're going to actually make the timer work. So we're going to go on the timer, and then we're going to say when it's created, it's going to repeat every 0.1 seconds to modify the variable timer to 0.1 relative. So it's going to add 0.1 every 0.1 seconds. So it's basically just a normal timer, it's just a little bit more incremental. And we're going to say here if condition hashtag on, because we're going to want to be able to stop this timer and not keep it running. So we're going to give it on so it starts off right away. But then we're going to go back to this portal here, and once the character collides with the portal, the timer is going to stop. So we're going to say, but firstly, we're gonna want to add a tag to the timer. So I'm just gonna say timer, then we're gonna go back to the portal, and then we're gonna say on the portal, once it collides with character at the top, we're gonna say it's gonna tell the timer. So we're gonna say timer because we made the timer have the tag timer, and then it's gonna remove tag on, so it stops making the seconds change. And now we're gonna have to make a leaderboard so it's competitive and things like that. So we're gonna quickly just copy the restart here and fork it. Then we're gonna make a leaderboard button, so it's gonna show up once you die and when you win. So I'm going to say leaderboard. I want to make it yellow. And this leaderboard is going to, when you tap it, it's going to show you the leaderboard. So I'm going to say when tapped, it's going to show leaderboard for variable. And we're going to make the variable timer because we want a timer leaderboard. Global scope. And we're going to make it high, the low values because we want the lowest time. And then we're going to change score over here to time. And we actually want to save the variable for time. That's a problem a lot of people get. So we're going to actually do that on the timer again. We're going to say it repeats every 0.1 seconds. It's going to modify the variable and it's going to save the variable to the leaderboard. So we're going to say save variable to leaderboard and the timer to the global leaderboard. So it's going to constantly save it to leaderboard. Once it stops, it's not going to save it no more. And then we're going to go back to the character and we're going to say when it's 0, it's also going to create the leaderboard text a bit down, maybe at 4, and the absolute. I think 4 is a bit too much. I'm going to make it 3 here. I'm going to modify the restart to 1, and I'm going to modify you lose to -1. So I'll have good separation. Then we're going to go back to the portal and we're just going to add the leaderboard one. We're going to say create leaderboard at 3 once again, absolute 3, 1, and then -1 for the Y. So once the person kills all the zombies and stuff, they can go to the portal and then they get the timer. Now we're going to quickly make a start position. So we're going to remove these other things we have that we don't need here. And we're going to just basically make a start position. I'm going to make one real quick now. So I just move it in like this. And then we're also gonna quickly go on the arrow shooting button and we're just gonna say when it's created, it's gonna repeat in seconds, make as possible, move to front, so it's always gonna be in front and won't be under the actual environment. So now we can go in the game, we have the timer ticking, and we can go try to make it to the end. Some good game design is going to be needed because this one's really easy. Once you reach the end, it should work, but we forgot we need to take away the one mistake I made is when the leaderboard comes up, we have to say when tapped, and the same for the restart card. When tapped, you mustn't be when created. And I'll show everything. You can press restart, and as you can see, the timer doesn't reset, so we're going to go here and change it to modify the variable timer to be 0, so when you restart, the timer will reset. Modify timer to 0, or you can retry, and it'll reset the timer, and you can get a better time in your second run, your third run, no matter what run you do. You can see the HP in the top left, and you can go to leaderboard, check who has the best time. But one thing I want to change is just make sure the enemy's attack isn't visible, because that was just for checking. And then now what we're going to do is just package the game and publish it, and then you're going to tap at the top here. You're going to name whatever you want. I'm going to name it tutorial roguelike, and you can add tags because tags make the performance of your game a little bit better in Castle. I'm just gonna name it roguelike, tutorial, and speedrun. Once you're done with that, you can tap off, tap somewhere else, then you can make it public so everyone can play it, or you can make it unlisted if you only want to make people play it with links. And you can choose if you have any graphic things in your thing, so you can set the sensitivity, but I don't. You can also press here what people can do with your deck, and you can change some things except view source code unless you have the dweller. That's basically so they can't check your actual code. But what a lot of people would want to do is disable create remixes, so they can't basically copy your deck and get more likes or something like that. You can disable all these things, but I'm going to leave them all on. And you can also add optional titles for your deck, but I'm not going to do that. Then you press save, you press done, and now if you go on your profile, you can play your game. It can have likes and everything, and that's your game. So thank you guys so much for watching the tutorial. This tutorial series was quite successful, so more might come later on. So see you guys next time, and bye bye.